30 years ago, Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons in return for security assistance. Now, the war-torn country wants ironclad protection from its allies as it enters a pivotal stage in its war with Russia. But since Russia started its invasion of Ukraine, the Biden administration is reportedly considering proposing an Israel model for Ukraine and NATO. It is a security model that Western leaders, including the U.S. president, have compared with what Israel has now, a deal that would be limited commitment and not include a collective defense guarantee. And according to reports, the White House would pledge to continue providing more military aid to Ukraine, regardless of the outcome of its ongoing counteroffensive. The deal will likely be for a shorter period than the commitment to Israel, which typically runs in 10-year intervals. According to the Polish President Duda, an Israeli-style security agreement for Ukraine would give priority to arms transfers and advanced technology. Further, this will push forward Kyiv's process of becoming a future member of NATO, but will stop short of actually making NATO a party to any conflict with Russia. As for a while, Ukraine has been trying to become a member of the NATO military alliance, but its request has been denied in 2008, with opponents to Kyiv's membership citing potential effect on Europe's relationship with Russia as a major issue. It is still not clear what weapons or technology might be transferred to Ukraine under this agreement, but several of Kyiv's allies have already armed the country. For instance, Poland has already supplied Ukraine with Soviet MiG-29 aircrafts. The U.S. has said that it will train Ukrainian pilots to fly F-16 jets, an essential step before the jets are actually supplied to Kyiv. Moreover, Ukraine's other allies have provided the country with tanks, high-end American and German-made air defense systems as well. And with the NATO membership for Kyiv possibly years away, a set of binding security agreements would be a way of helping the Ukrainian military immediately as Kyiv carries out its counteroffensive to push Russia out of its territory. It has claimed after the storming of the country last year. Okay, for more on this, we are being joined by Professor David Dunn from Birmingham, England. He is a professor of international politics at the University of Birmingham. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us on WION, and great to have you. So the United States is keen, along with its allies, but Joe Biden specifically, to not be a party of this war. And apparently, while there are NATO member states that want to see Ukraine part of the alliance, the United States and some other countries, notably Germany, are against it. Do you think that this is the pathway forward to helping Ukraine, or does Russia not care?
I think the idea of an Israeli model for Ukraine in the short term is one that serves a number of purposes. It signals to the Russians the long-term commitment of America and the West to the defense of Ukraine. Just now, Russia is trying to outweight NATO. Secondly, it allows the NATO allies who are closest to Ukraine, who want a much stronger commitment from NATO to Ukraine, to have something tangible at the summit next month. And thirdly, it allows actually America to make a long-term commitment to try and bind any future Republican administration to the defense of Ukraine. So that's why they've come up with this idea of the Israeli model. The prospect of NATO membership immediately isn't viable, because to give NATO membership now would be effectively to declare war on Russia. Similarly, if they say we'll give you NATO membership as soon as the fighting stops, that gives Russia an incentive to keep fighting to avoid Ukraine joining NATO.
And the United States would ultimately have to get Congress's approval. Do you think that it will, first of all, even go that far? And how will the United States and public opinion react to something like this? After all, we're really entering the height of election campaigning.
Yes, again, by phrasing it as the Israeli model, it's making it sound like what America does already to a key ally, Israel. The support for Ukraine within Congress is actually very strong and bipartisan. Despite the more populist presidential candidates in Congress, Republicans are supportive of this. And if they could bind the United States to a long-term agreement, if they could avoid having to discuss this at every occasion when the new package is put forward and actually agree it's long-term as a long-term commitment, it would take some of the politics out of that domestically. As far as public opinion are concerned, there is still large majorities in support of America's transfer of aid, military and humanitarian and advanced technology to Ukraine. So I don't think that's necessarily a problem in the short term.
Professor, thank you so much for joining us on WION. We'll be watching this development very closely, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
My pleasure.